Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order tonight. I'll ask the pastor, Mr. Byron Fair, to lead us in our prayer. Right from the prayer, we'll go right to the pledge.
Would you pray with me? God, we do thank you so much for the blessings of life that you've given us in this day. God, the beauty that it has approached us all. And God, we just ask now in this time that you be involved in this city. God, we pray for Northport and for the leaders, for all of the leadership, God, and for every citizen that lives in it. God, that you continue to watch over us, protect us, and guide us into the future. We ask all these things now in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Collins, call roll, please.
Councilwoman Hayes.
Here.
Councilman Sullivan.
Here.
Councilman Sims.
Here.
Councilman Harper.
Here.
President Logan.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. President.
Our honorable mayor has a few administrative duties to take care of, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Get to open up. There we go. Ladies, if you'd like to come up here with me. And if you will, if you introduce yourself, just come on back, come on to the mic and let everybody know who you are.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Maddox, and I'm the director at Child Abuse Prevention Services. And we would like to say thank you for this proclamation and the recognition of April.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Simon, and I'm a service delivery director for Child Abuse Prevention Services.
Hi, I'm Paula Peacock with United Cerebral Palsy of West Alabama. I work with the special projects, and one of my special projects is the Heart's Respite Project, which is aimed at the prevention of child abuse and neglect of special needs children. And I thank the City of Northport for their support and their continued efforts on the behalf of the prevention of child abuse and neglect.
My name is Leslie Guy, and I work at Child Development Resources at the University of Alabama. I'm the Parent Services Coordinator, and I work with the program called Baby Talk and also Alabama's Parenting Assistance Line, who has a 1-800 phone number for all parents in Alabama. But we've actually received calls from over 40 states seeking help and understanding what their child's behavior may be, and we go from birth up through adolescence. And our Baby Talk program focuses on families here in Tuscaloosa County that have children that are birth to 3 who may need some extra assistance in knowing if what they're doing is normal. They may referrals to other agencies here in the county that can help those children. So we'll visit them when they deliver their babies, both at Northport Medical Center and DCH, and then at several different healthcare sites here in town. So thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Yolanda Williams. I'm from Tuscaloosa's One Place. It has definitely been an honor to work alongside so many individuals and agencies within the community that focuses on ensuring the well-being of children. Pretty much our objective during the month of April is just to spread awareness by participating in activities and conducting community events to just focus on reducing the likelihood of child abuse and neglect.
Thank you so much. Thank all y'all for being here. And I'm honored to do this proclamation. Whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem that depends upon involvement from people throughout the community. And whereas child maltreatment occurs when people find themselves in stressful situations without community resources. And whereas the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community. And whereas all citizens should become involved in supporting families in raising their children in a safe, nurturing environment. And whereas effective child abuse preventive programs succeed because of partnerships created among families, social service agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now therefore, I, Bobby Herndon, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Northport, Alabama, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2016 to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in the city of Northport, and call upon all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our efforts to support families, therefore preventing child abuse and neglect and strengthening the communities in which we live. And I thank all of you guys for being here very much, and I'm just going to give that to you, and thank y'all so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Collins, out of his office, has a couple presentations regarding some employee recognitions and a special award. Special awards he's going to give out.
Mr. President, members of council, Mayor Herndon, as you're aware, from time to time, we have employees who've retired from the city. We have 2 of those for you tonight. The first one, Chief Marshal, if you want to come up and take this on behalf of one of our employees. I don't think Rodney is here tonight, Rodney Lunsford. But Chief Marshal can get this plaque to Rodney, and it says, presented to Rodney Lunsford with sincere appreciation and gratitude for 25 years of service with the City of Northport Fire Department from April 3rd, 1991 to March 31, 2016. So if you would get to that, Rodney, we surely would appreciate that. The second one that we have is Miss Barber Hinton. Barber, if you would come on up. Before I read this to you, I just want to say in front of everyone, and whoever's worked with the city knows, that this is probably the most nicest, kind-hearted person we've ever had at the City of Northport, and I mean that sincerely. I kidded her all the time, and she would ask for an off day here, an off day there, and I told her every day she took off was a day we added to her time being at the City of Northport. It is absolutely a disappointment to see her go. We thank her so much, and everyone here loves you and hope that you're doing well. We have to you presented to Barbara Hinton with sincere appreciation and gratitude for 11 years of service with the City of Northport Finance Department from September 26, 2005 to March 31, 2016. And we thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Barbara, you want to say anything?
Now that I'm retired, I guess I can say whatever I want to. The only thing I would like to say is that I worked 30 years in private industry, and I worked 10 here. And I want to say that the jobs here, the offices held by individual, I have a high respect for the people that run those jobs. And I just want you all to know that. I don't have anything negative to say, but I think the jobs are very good jobs.
Thank you. Always gonna miss that smile, Barbara. I'm tell you what. Never had a bad day working for the City of Northport. Thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, item 5 is approval of the agenda. You have your agenda before you. To have a motion to approve that agenda as printed.
Motion to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Sims. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Harper. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Councilman Sims.
Yes.
Councilman Harper.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes.
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 7A1, unfinished business, is a second reading of an ordinance establishing a public records policy. Mr. Davis.
Yes, Mr. President, this is ready for vote by the council. Basically, it sets forth in writing a policy for us to follow so that everyone's treated the same. It sets up a manner and a procedure for people to follow, and basically, if people would like to review the records, they can. If they would like to have copies, we will make those for them. First 10 pages are free. That's 25 cents per page thereafter. The first hour of staff time is free. The next hours thereafter at $10 an hour. Those are the identical fees that the City of Tuscaloosa charges for the same thing, and it's in line with most other cities in the state. And so this is something that we would recommend that the council approve, and that it kind of sets forth a policy for us to follow with everyone, so we treat everyone the same.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. To have a motion to approve that ordinance establishing a public records policy.
Move to approve, Mr. President.
That's a motion by Councilman Harper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. Any questions or comments?
I would like to say that I feel like this ordinance or potential ordinance is discriminatory against certain groups of people, and that I cannot, in good faith, vote for something that is It's possibly not legal, but certainly discriminatory.
Thank you, Councilwoman. That's a motion by Councilman Harper, second by Councilman Sullivan. Questions from the floor from the Honorable District 1, Judy Hayes. Any further questions or discussions? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Councilman Harper?
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes?
No.
President Logan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 8B2 is a resolution appointing a member to the AAWA Board, Mr. Collins.
Yes, Mr. President, members of council, Mayor Hernan, as you're aware, the Ability Alliance of West Alabama requests from time to time appointments at their request or names to be appointed to vacancies or unexpired terms of the Ability Alliance Board. What you have for you tonight, or before you tonight, is a resolution appointing Ms. Crystal Lavorne to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Joe Long, and this is again at the request of the Ability Alliance for the Ability Alliance Board.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution appointing Ms. Crystal Lavorne to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Joe Long on the Ability Alliance of West Alabama Board?
Move to approve.
Thank you. That's a motion by Councilman Sullivan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sims. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Councilman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
Councilman Harper?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes?
Yes.
President Logan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 3 is a bid file or awarding a bid file 16-02 lawn maintenance, Mr. Stevens. This is out of your office. And again, this is just an annual bid process that we're going to do from here on out, possibly to streamline the actual lawn care services that the city may take into account. Yes, sir, that's correct. So for example, if we've got a weeded lot in somebody's district, it'll go straight to the lowest responsible bidder as opposed to having to bid it out and maybe prolong the process. This actually streamlines it a little bit.
Yes, sir, that's correct. We'll have one contractor for the whole year. They'll have 7 days to cut the grass.
Thank you. And the bid file, of course, ladies and gentlemen, the lowest responsible bidder is J&K Lawn Care. Do I have a motion to approve the lawn maintenance bid file 16-02 to J&K Lawn Care and authorizing the city administrator's office to approve all requisitions for said bid?
Move to approve.
Thank you. That's a motion by Councilman Harper. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Councilman Harper?
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes?
Yes.
President Logan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 4 is awarding a bid file 16-03 heavy brush removal, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, so this is similar to the grass cutting, but for heavier brush.
Thank you. Same process. This is trying to find a way we can streamline the process, make it more efficient, so when we have some heavier brush on properties and we've gone through the process of notifying the homeowner or property owner, we can actually go through the lowest responsible bidder. In this case, it is Dad's Enterprises. Dad's Enterprises was the lowest responsible bidder. Do I have a motion to award the bid file for brush removal to Dad's Enterprises?
Move to approve, Mr. President.
Thank you. That's a motion by Councilman Harper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Councilman Harper?
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes?
Yes.
President Logan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item C is the consent agenda. In our pre-meeting, we've asked that item 8C12 be removed separately and voted on separately. So that's items 1 through 11 and items 13 through 14. They range from minutes of the previous meeting, bill listing, travel and training for various employees, and PO requisitions for water and wastewater utilities and appurtenances thereof. So is that 8C12, council?
8C12 has
Okay.
been requested to be removed for individual consideration.
All right.
So it would be 8C11 and then 8C13 through 15.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 11 and items 13 through 15?
Make that motion.
Thank you. That's a motion by Councilman Sims. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. Any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda items?
Is this one deleted? Is that what was just said?
No, ma'am. At the request of Councilmember Sims, we wanted to make sure he wanted to separate it so he can vote on it separately. Not to delete, we'll just take this one out for separate consideration. Yes, ma'am. That's a motion by Councilmember Sims, second by Councilman Sullivan. Questions from the floor from Councilwoman Judy Hayes, District 1. Any further questions or discussions? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Councilman Sims,
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilman Harper,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes,
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Same consent agenda item. This is item 8C12. This is the one we're going to pull separately. This is a PO requisition for water wastewater treatment plant required testing from TTL. Of course, this is a budgetary item out of Utilities Department. I have a motion to approve that PO requisition.
Move to approve, Mr. President.
Thank you. That's a motion by Councilman Harper. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Sullivan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Collins.
Harper,
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hayes,
Yes.
Councilman Sims,
Abstain.
President Logan.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 9 is reports of special committees to council. We have none to report tonight. Item 10, public hearings. We have none on the agenda tonight. Item 11, city administrator's business. Mr. Collins.
Mr. President, nothing for you tonight.
Thank you. Item 12, departmental business. We have none to report tonight. Item 13, public comment. We have one citizen signed to speak, Mr. Jody Jobson. Ms. Jobson, thank you for coming. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jody Jobson. I live at 1534 Bellwood Lane, and I'm here representing a group of concerned citizens that want to get some things straightened out up here. Mayor, you weren't around. Just a few of the legal terms few of the legal items regarding city administrator clerk position. Ordinance 1035 dated March 1993 established city administrator position. I have that copy in your packet. In 1035, I briefly read that they created the city administrator, who was at that time department head of the finance department and was charged with the supervision of personnel and duties. But then the City Council of Northport is of the opinion that the Department of Finance should be supervised and managed by an individual other than administrator clerk. So they did Article 2 and the Article 3, Exhibit A and B. They created the administrator office, administrator clerk, and his responsibilities were to make and keep up to date an inventory of all property, real and person, owned by the city. He shall keep the council and mayor fully advised as to the financial condition and needs of the city, and shall be responsible for and prepare the annual estimate of expenditures for presentation to the council mayor prior to the passage of the budget. That was Exhibit A. Exhibit B created the finance department. Duties of the finance department: custody, collection, and accounting of all receipts and funds of the city, including ledgers.
We're just setting the mood. We're going to get that light turned back on, Jody. Apologize for that.
That's all right. Maintaining accounts, records of utility customers, dockets and fines of the city court, collection and issuance of business license, maintaining accounts and records of special assessments for public improvements and the like. Coordination, this is the finance director now. Finance director in part. Coordination and control of purchasing activities, preparation of estimates of revenue and expenditures and other budgetary reports and documents. Coordination of data processing activities of the city. And I'll let you read the rest of it. But that was done in 93. In 2005, Ordinance 1556, dated March the 28th, established procedure for removal of the city administrator clerk and other department heads. Ordinance 1659, dated October 22nd, 2007, repealed the responsibilities of the city administration by removing Code Section 2-114, and then established the position of city clerk, which was combined position of city clerk and treasurer under Northport Code 2-97. In my opinion, the city has not had a city clerk since December of 2008. The responsibility of the city administrator have not been enforced for over 8.5 years, and we've not had a legally binding authority of city administrator clerk since 2007. The new position for administrator clerk was advertised in Tuscaloosa News November the 2nd, 2008. And as far as I can find, advertisement was not approved in the minutes by the Northport City Council, who authorized this one day before the 2008 council was sworn in. The sitting members of the council at that time, city clerk had advertised, was put and published, was Scott Collins, Lorenzo Freeman, John Myers, William Tennell, and Steve Webb. I asked many of them, do they remember approving this by law, this legal newspaper advertisement? Two of them said no, three of them said no. Since it appears that Northport does not have a legitimate city administrator, I would like to ask the city council to suspend the person who is now functioning as city administrator and it appears has no legal authority in his position, and a full investigation in the matter I have presented tonight, including a forensic audit of city finances and determine the proper path to repair the situation. Ask that my comments and attached ordinances be included in the council minutes, and hope you really take this matter seriously, because I mean, I'm not a lawyer like Ron Davis, but if they repeal the duties of city administrator, then he can't serve as a city clerk as advertised in the paper. So actually, we don't have any of them. We just have a man up there that's using the title of city administrator. Thank you.
Now I understand why Mr. Collins wanted to restrict access to ordinances, city ordinances.
I hope everybody disregards that comment by Councilwoman Davis. Thank you.
All right, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Jobson, thank you, bringing this to council. Again, I'll leave the floor open if any member of council wanted to comment or whatnot, but
Mr. President, I'll be glad to respond, or we can wait. It's
well,
pleasure of the council.
I'll be glad to respond if you want to. Mr. Jobson's right. He's not a lawyer. I'm not a brain surgeon. I don't do brain surgery. We have a legal city administrator. I'm sorry to break the bubble about three of you that don't want one, but we have and have had a city administrator for a number of years.
all right. We'll go to item 14, ladies and gentlemen. District 1, Councilwoman Hayes.
I feel that this needs to be looked into. We need to see actual copies of documents that Mr. Davis is referring to. The actual ordinances. This is a very serious matter and should be taken seriously by every member of this council, and not name calling is appropriate. We have a right to know. We have an obligation to know if there is any question. Thank you.
Thank you. Under my business, I have none to report. District 3, Councilman Sullivan.
Well, three real quick items. I always want to thank Brother Byron for coming. I appreciate you. Barber, I'm going to miss you. Always fun seeing you around. Please stop by and check on us every now and then. The last item would be announcement to the old Walton's restaurant that closed down. We got the ability to say we can, or announce that it's Marco's Pizza, a national chain. Not sure on the opening day, but it looks like it's coming along pretty quick, so certainly excited about that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. District 4, Councilman Sims.
I'd just like to say congratulations to Miss Hinton. I was I was very fortunate, her last week to stumble upon her, just out of the blue for something I needed, and I talked to Miss Hinton, and it was a very humbling experience to talk to her, first of all, and an honor to talk to her. And I'm very disappointed you're leaving, but I'm certainly wish you the best. I hear nothing but great things about you.
Thank you. District 5, Councilman Harper.
I'd just like to echo that too, Ms. Hinton. Thank you so much for your service. It's an honor to serve up here with staff members like you, and I really appreciate that smiling face and the positive things that you say about our city. And thank you so much, and we're gonna miss you. Go business.
Thank you. Mayor Herndon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had the opportunity this last Saturday to address the 26th Annual Civil Air Patrol Alabama Wing Conference at Embassy Suites. They had a couple of hundred people show up, and I did a proclamation for them as far as how much we appreciate their sacrifice in good times and bad times. A lot of young people. There was some folks that have been in the Civil Air Patrol for 68 years. Even before the official Civil Air Patrol was started, and it was awesome. Every day, still get more and more comments about how our city looks, thanks to our Public Works Department. I get comments and brags on our police and fire. It's just, it's good to be a citizen in the city of Northport. It's a great time to be mayor. That's all I better say right now.
Thank you. Item 15 is adjournment, ladies and gentlemen. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. That's a motion by Councilman Sullivan. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Harper. All in favor, please say yes. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.